Geno, last year when you had to go to the small lineup, it wasn't a good sign that you didn't have many alternatives. Then you went to the small lineup, and it seemed to really work for you. Can you just talk about the game that Morgan had?
Yeah, I think there's got to be a variety of ways that you can play. And if you have if you have the people and you have the ability to do it, there's some games where that's what's needed. And I do believe that we have options. We have a way to put lineups on the floor and give the other team something different. Every game's different. Every game calls for something different. You have to have the ability, I think, to be a team to accommodate what that game needs.
Morgan was really good for you guys in the first half and a little bit in the second too. Just what's impressing the most about her ability to jump in, especially she did 10 practices before the season ended?
Yeah, I thought she did what she normally does when she's at practice, and that is she's able to impact the game. I mean, I use that word a lot. Impact the game can happen a lot of different ways, but her activity level is what I really like. And it forces the other team to have to defend a different kind of player than Geno and us. So it serves a lot of purpose. They have to change the way they play defense. We get more active. We get, she has great instincts, and it's who she is. I mean, she just played to her true self today. There's a lot more. There's a lot more that she can do. I think the fouls have to stop on her end. I don't give her more minutes. She had 4 today, which is not going to be acceptable. But she does so many good things to help us. She's going to get more minutes as we move along.
Coach, obviously you're looking a lot for your bigs inside. At the end of the second quarter, you had an extended conversation with Geno. It looked like you two weren't on the same page. You talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, she was trying to figure out what I meant by her next move after she leaves the ball off, after she sets a screen, and she was describing the situation that was out there involving her and Paige. That Paige wanted one thing. Geno thought she wanted something different. So just trying to clear up some confusion. I think Jenna's a big target. And the more we get her moving in the lane, the more people have to pay attention to that. So, yeah, every once in a while, I am on the same page with these players. Doesn't happen often, but every once in a while it happens.
Ransom came into this game averaging 21 a game. You guys held her to 7 and 2 field goals. I mean, just what did you think worked so well about the defensive effort, especially on her?
We're trying to make a point that players are much easier to guard when they don't have the ball than after they get it, especially good offensive players. So the focus was limiting how many touches, and then having a pretty good idea where she wanted to go, and making sure that we had the right coverage, which we didn't do such a great job in that in our previous game. So we really made it a point. And I thought Caitlin and KK, especially those two, did a terrific job defensively.
Coach, Warren Georgetown is, they met you in the championship of the Big East Conference Finals last year. You coached. Can you just talk about how you've seen that program grow and kind of what Coach Haney brings to the conference in terms of coaching acumen?
Yeah, I think they surprised a lot of people last year. If you said to anybody before the Big East tournament, hey, the final game is going to be Connecticut and Georgetown, I think a lot of people would have been a little skeptical, but they play really hard defensively. They play at a pace that makes you have to play at their pace. So, they're not an easy team to get them out of their pace, and I think their coaching staff does a great job of putting them in position offensively to take advantage of their strengths. I think the program a few years back was under constant change, constant flux. Nobody really had an idea what direction they were going in, who was coaching, who wasn't coaching. And I do believe that, out of something really tragic, something came out of it that's turned out to be really, really good. Obviously, they're not the same team they were last year. They were even missing a couple guys today. But they're not an easy team to play against in our league, for sure.
Geno, can you talk about where Sarah was, say, day one, now that she's played 10 games? What's the difference in her game, her approach, or anything? And what are the most important things, say, if you want to divide things into the next 10 games? And I have a follow-up.
The preseason for her was mostly a finding her way, not wanting to be assertive or aggressive, not wanting to do more, always trying to do just enough to blend in. And through, her success, conversations about what we need from her, I think that the most evident factor right now is she doesn't hesitate. She wants the ball more often, and she tries to make something happen more often. There's a lot more left in Sarah. We've only barely scratched the surface of where I think she's going.
And what was it like having Carly here coming up? We watched Caitlin play. She also has a couple of ex-players in the touch.
Yeah. There was a play down the other end where there was a foul call, and I turned around and I gave her a dirty look, Carla. And I was told that the foul wasn't on Caitlin, that it was on Sarah. So I had to apologize for that one. But then when Caitlin threw a fly ball to left field out of nowhere, that one I did turn around, and by that time Carla had ducked and was hiding under one of the seats. They have a special relationship, Caitlin and Carla. Obviously they've been through won a lot of big games. I have so much respect for her and what she's done, and I know she's really proud of Caitlin, coming here and having the impact that she's had. So, yeah, I'm a big Carla fan, obviously.
Rice was on the bench for long stretches today. Just what were you seeing from her? Where are you trying to get her to at this point?
Well, it's not what I was seeing from her, it's what I was seeing from Woody. And, based on practices recently, I just made a commitment that I'm gonna get more than more playing time. However that works out, that's the way it works out. And today, that's how it worked out. The object of every kid that steps on the floor and comes to practice, plays in the game, whatever the case may be, is that they have an identity. This is who I am, and this is what I bring every single day. Right? So you look at somebody like Caitlin and KK, Ash. This is what I bring. This is who I am. You can count on me to do this every night. And if you don't have that, then it's going to be hard for you to get the success that you want.
You know, the next couple of games are against players who can really put a team in difficult spots down low. Do you have a sense of how your team's gonna respond to that type of challenge?
Actually, I don't. I don't have a sense. Every game's different. Every team poses a different problem. Iowa State, obviously, everyone knows what their greatest strength is, and they're very good at playing through that strength. So how we prepare for them will probably have to be different than how we prepare for, the USC game. Two different players, two different teams that, have a lot of attention paid to them. But mostly, I think it's about imposing your will and saying, this is how we're going to play, this is what we're going to do, and then see what you can limit. And the more things that you can limit, great, but you have to get a lot of things accomplished on your end in order to win these next two games especially.
Oh, and I love that. Just what are your impressions on how Monty's playing this season?
Who?
Monty?
I wish we had her. Let's put it that way. There's just a presence, obviously, that she has. And she comes down the floor. It's a problem for every team that they play. I don't care who the other team has. They're going to have a problem with her. And that's what I was talking about. That you have to know who you are, you have to know what you bring, and then you have to deliver that every single night. And she does. And she's young, right? She, I think this is her second year, right? So it hasn't taken her long to get acclimated to college basketball. But when you have what she has, it's something that very few people in the country have. So she's a difference maker, as they say.
7 different players make a 3 tonight. Just coming out of Notre Dame, how much do you feel like this kind of helped everybody's confidence reset?
Yeah, it's funny because how many we get today? 22. We got 22 threes. I like to get. That's about a third of our shots. That's about right. That's about right. So I worry when we don't get them. Like the other night, we did get them. Right? I'd rather get them and miss them than not get them. And I like the fact that we can spread it around a little bit. I thought we shot it poorly early on from the 3-point line. But we have to take them and we have to be aggressive with it. And we have to get more of them in our half-court sets. We get some in transition, but we have to get more of them in our half-court sets. So we're working hard on that. But that's the other thing, you put Morgan out on the floor for more minutes. It's a smaller lineup, but it's also another shooter that the defense has to contend with.
Geno, can you talk a little bit more about Sarah and the composure she plays? She never looks lost. She never looks flustered, frazzled out there. You see that, you don't see a lot in freshmen. She just looks like she's always ready for the moment.
Yeah, you don't see that very often in young players. Sometimes the game is too fast for them, and they can't show the real skills. The game is slow for them. You know, some people just have that innate ability to do that. She's very confident and very comfortable with her game, with who she is, and she knows exactly what she's good at. She knows exactly what she wants to do for the most part, and very rarely is she caught in a bad spot or has the ball in her hands and something bad happens. I mean, she missed a couple layups today, but she never misses. But she's again, I think if we're going anywhere with this team this year, she has to be a big part of it, and she's okay with that. We were talking earlier about, if you look back at the best teams we've ever had, there was a great presence in the middle. There was a great presence on the wing, and there was a great presence, at the guard spot. And if you have those three things, then I think you put yourself in a position to have a lot of success. And obviously Sarah's a big part of that.
Is Paige doing anything this year that you didn't know she could do? Obviously, she's been around long enough. We've seen pretty much all this. They come out of the bag of tricks. She had 24 today, a couple of big blocks in that sequence, and turn that game around quickly. But I'm just so used to it at this point.
I think she did today what I wanted her to do more of, just take that little pull-up coming off those screens and handoffs. And I thought the other night she was forcing to try to get to the free throw line. So she was taking shots that were really difficult to make and wasn't getting the calls anyway. So it backfired tremendously. And I thought today she didn't over penetrate and put herself in a problem situation. But as far as, what is she doing that I didn't know she could do? I've seen her do it all, right? I've seen her since freshman year, and she's just more vocal this year, which is really good. That's helped a lot. It's helped the other players a lot. But if we can keep getting her the kind of touches that we gave her today, then I think she's going to do exactly what she did today. Thanks, everybody.
You had two blocks today. Tonight you're tied for the year. Last year at 51. What does it mean to be able to play good defense and get those top blocks?
It means everything. Just trying to contribute to winning in any way possible. It was a huge emphasis for our team to defend, deflect, passes, shots, contest everything. So to be able to set that tone and do that means everything.
Each coach has talked about Morgan, and when she comes into practices, things change a little bit, get better. Can you just talk about that energy or the intangibles that she brings to the court for you guys?
Yeah, I thought tonight she really showcased how well she knows the game and her instincts and how much she hustled and created havoc and got in the passing lanes. But I think with her, she can play 1 through 5, honestly, and so that's a really game changer in terms of what we can run, how we can switch up our defense, our offense. But I think Morgan's just really great at adapting to whatever role and whatever position she has to play out on the floor. So she's really easy to play in any sort of situation with any group out there.
Morgan, you hit that three at the end of the first quarter. It felt like it kind of changed the momentum for you guys. Just what was going through your head when you took that shot, and how did you feel like it did so much things for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I mean, when I caught it, I noticed she was backed off, so I was like, yeah, I'm shooting this. But yeah, I mean, you know, like the confidence that like my teammates instill in me and like their trust in me to take that shot was big, and just trying to like keep the energy up and the momentum. I would say like pace, and also just getting used to how like the system we run, and like playing with new people, and obviously the competition. So just getting used to that stuff and just keep building from there.
So 10 games into your college career, can you think, where do you think you are game 1? Where do you think you are game 10? How do you feel more comfortable? How do you think you adjusted? How do you feel about it?
I think I've adjusted pretty well. Game 1 I was really nervous and just kind of excited to get everything started, but now I feel like I'm more confident in myself and in my abilities.
How much does that come from?
That's a big part. Is confidence that they give me and coaches believe in me.
Morgan, just so your 10th game too, almost performing tonight, how do you say that?
Yeah, I think with our defense, I wanted to come in and bring energy defensively and getting, like we said, in the passing lanes, and try to create havoc on both ends of the floor, you know. So yeah, I just came in with, you know, aggressive mindset and trying to do that.
How does that feel? You know, have you learned anything? And, you know, what are you most excited for the summer period?
I'm excited to go and see my family and this makes me good.
I'm happy that finals are done, and I can just focus on being an athlete right now. But yeah, also seeing my family is going to be really nice.
Follow up to that for you two. What have you both learned from Paige, who's been through so much, early on in your UConn careers? Rock, paper, scissors, come on.
I mean, honestly, Paige and her leadership, you know, she works really hard in her hustle. You can see it every time she's on the court. And yeah, I mean, just her journey so far, you know, here, I've learned a lot from her, and just how to keep going, and you can always get better.
I was pretty much the same. The leadership is what adversity.
You guys have a pretty big challenge in the front court. How do you say
Obviously, we'll get this out tomorrow. We'll work on the game plan tomorrow. But it's not one person that's guarding her. It's all 5 people on the court. Whoever steps in off the bench. We'll have a great game plan. I know we'll have a great scout. But again, it's not one person's responsibility. It's on everybody to help out, to make things harder for her, to make things harder for the guards to enter into her. And so I'm sure we'll go through that and how we want to attack it. But it's definitely a team game plan more than just who's the one person that's out there.
What do you think one of the differences with Boston after the other game on here? Different is like the president on the court. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we didn't want to soak too much on the loss, obviously learn from it, but not let it affect our games moving forward in a negative way, but more in a positive way, and how we can get better. And I thought we set the tone on how we wanted to play defensively. We looked at last game and how comfortable Notre Dame was in their sets and their offense and what they wanted to do. They got it done, basically. And so defensively, we wanted to cause more havoc in the passing lanes, be disruptive. And I thought we did a good job of that tonight. So to continue to keep getting better, learn from the last game, and use it as motivation and fuel to get better. I thought we did that.
Sir, through came good together at sport and play something together. Is there a comfort level you guys go through? Does it help you when you're all on the court together?
Yeah, I feel like we're comfort level together as well. We play together against each other at like McDonald's and Georgetown and stuff like that. But just playing alongside them has built our chemistry as friends.
Coach is talking about like the season guys for the pull-ups that you're getting tonight. What do you feel like was the key to finding more of those tonight versus something else Saturday?
Not over penetrating, taking what the defense is giving me. A lot of times I want to get into the lane, get easier baskets at the rim, but I feel like a pull-up is just more as efficient, maybe more efficient for me. So just taking what the defense gives me, not over penetrating, but taking the shots that I have wide open, not passing them up.
Hey, Jen, have you noticed anything that frazzles Sarah on the court? You're not probably here. She's not playing. She's not really playing. That frazzles her either on the court or off the court.
Her video games. Like when we play Fortnite, like the team's pressing us, she gets a little nervous. But yeah, I would just say video games.
But are you impressed by her composure though overall on the court though? The way she just handles herself, seems to be comfortable in every situation.
Yeah, she has this like poker face to her where nothing affects her. And you can never see it on her face whatever she's feeling in that moment. So to be able to have that as a freshman is huge.
Sarah, you want to defend yourself about the video games or no?
I don't need to.
That wasn't like that wasn't.
I don't care. I just
Hey, Coach said that if you guys are going to do what you hope to do this year, what you expect to do, that Sarah is going to have to play a big, big role in that. Do you see the characteristics in her? I mean, we just talked about her composure a little bit. What do you see in her that tells you she can be that huge impact player?
Her aggressiveness and her will to win, and her ability to impact the game without scoring. Like tonight, she had 14 rebounds. And so she's willing to do whatever, sacrifice her body, and really do anything for the team to win. And so I think like that's the main thing I need her to play a big role in contribute to it.
After the game, you guys are off the court and family and web checking you. You know how important that is. You see how important you guys are to the public when you see something like that and get back to the community.
Yeah, I'm saying. It's super important just to be able to give back. I know Michael, that's who was in the wheelchair after the game. I've grown to be very close with him. Our team has grown to be very close with him. And just like relationships you build like that, it's very important. And I have little siblings, so I know what that's like, being a role model, being somebody that these kids look up to. So to be able to build this relationship and have it so they're not just watching us at games and going home and not getting to know us personally at all, it's important, and I think we all enjoy doing that after games and building these relationships and giving back to people who have poured so much into us. And so we're looking good.
Thank you.